I want to address an argument today that I've been hearing for the last few days. And interestingly, this argument didn't start right after the brutal terror attacks in Pahalgam. This argument has only begun after India responded to Pakistan's terrorist aggression. The argument being that India should sue for peace. India shouldn't be so aggressive. We should make peace, not war. We should de-escalate. An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind after all. Firstly, an eye for an eye will not make the whole world blind. There's still going to be one guy at the end left with one eye. So that argument is bullshit. Secondly, India has tried peace more times than you can imagine. Let's go back into India and Pakistan's history. India wanted peace after partition. However, Pakistan didn't. They attacked India in 1947 in order to acquire more Indian land based on some divine religious right. India defended herself and sued for peace. India took the matter to the United Nations for a peaceful resolution. And what did India receive for this peaceful approach? The 1965 war, which sadly again was initiated by Pakistan. India defended herself and again sued for peace. What did India then get in return? We got the systematic ethnic cleansing of minorities in West and East Pakistan, a systematic massacre of all opposition voices, a systematic murder, a genocide of over 3 million people, where India had to finally step in and put a stop to it in 1971. After winning the 1971 war, India once again chose peace. India, despite being in a position of overwhelming strength, signed the Shimla Agreement, choosing a peaceful settlement with Pakistan rather than continue hostilities. And what did India receive in return? Pakistan sponsored terrorism in Kashmir, which directly led to the ethnic cleansing of the indigenous Hindu population of the state. Nearly 400,000 indigenous Kashmiri Hindus were either murdered or expelled from their ancestral homeland of thousands of years. Despite this, India still looked for peace. The so-called right-wing Indian Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, went on a trip to Pakistan after getting elected, embraced the Pakistani Prime Minister and made a call from Pakistan for peace and reconciliation. And what did India receive for this gesture? Pakistan almost immediately initiated the Kargil war as if offended by the mere Indian suggestion of peace. Despite this war, the Indian government invited Pakistanis to Agra to discuss peaceful negotiations. India initiated the Aman Ki Asha campaign to create stronger bonds and better cultural and economic exchange between the two countries. And what did we receive in return? Multiple bombings of trains, markets and other public areas throughout the 2000s, culminating in the 2008 Mumbai terror attack, where Pakistani terrorists ran rampant in Mumbai and murdered over 180 people, including Americans, Europeans and Israelis. Despite all of this, when the current Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, won the election in 2014, one of his first actions was to sue for peace. He invited the Pakistani Prime Minister to his inauguration ceremony. He made an official trip to Pakistan and hugged the Pakistani Prime Minister and declared from Pakistan a clear intent on the part of his government and the people of India of developing long-lasting peace with Pakistan. You know where I'm going with this at this point, right? What did we get in return? We got the Uri attacks, where Pakistani terrorists killed multiple Indian security personnel. We got the Pathankot attacks, where Pakistani terrorists killed multiple Indian security personnel. We got the Pulwama attacks, where Pakistani-backed and trained terrorists killed 40 Indian security personnel. And now we get the Pahalgam attack, where Pakistani trained and backed terrorists singled out and murdered 26 Hindus specifically because of their religion. In fact, proudly told the survivors of the attack that they are being left alive so they can go and tell the rest of the country and the Indian Prime Minister what happened here.
कर्नाटक के शिमोगा की रहने वाली पल्लवी के पति को आतंकवादियों ने मार डाला। पल्लवी ने हमलावरों से कहा कि जब मेरे पति को मार दिया तो मुझे भी मार दो, और उनके मुताबिक आतंकवादी ने जवाब दिया कि तुम्हें छोड़ रहा हूं, जाओ मोदी को बता देना।
This is where we are, this is who we're dealing with, and this is how we got here. To their credit, both the left-wing and the so-called right-wing political parties in India have reached out their hand to Pakistan and tried to make peace. This has happened multiple times over the last 70 years, again, across the political aisle. This is why India is having to resort to force. The problem is that people outside of India and many people within India believe that in Pakistan we are dealing with a regular rational country like India. Unfortunately, history shows us that that simply isn't the case. India is a country that has a military. America is a country that has a military. Peru, Mexico, Vietnam are countries that have militaries. Pakistan is an Islamist military that owns a country, that rules over a landmass. I use the word Islamist responsibly because the most important man in Pakistan, the general of the Pakistani Armed Forces, Asim Munir, just days before the Pahalgam terrorist attack, waxed eloquently about the two-nation theory and the Pakistani army and the Pakistani public's undying belief in the two-nation theory.
We are different from the Hindus in every possible aspect of life. Our religion is different. Our customs are different. Our traditions are different. Our thoughts are different. Our ambitions are different. That was the foundation of the two-nation theory that was laid there. That we are two nations. We are not one nation.
This two-nation theory was also propounded by the founder of Pakistan, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, which states that the Hindus and Muslims are two completely different civilizations and people and simply cannot coexist. The Pakistani army further believes that it is the sacred duty of the Muslims to subdue or destroy the non-believing Indians. The historical lesson and the reason I went back into history was to show you that we're not dealing with a regular country. India and Pakistan are not on the same footing here. We are dealing with a bully. You can sue for peace as much as you want with a bully, but unfortunately, if you've ever been bullied in your life, you know that they're not really interested in dialogue. Similarly, you wouldn't castigate a woman for not calling for peace if she was being assaulted. Why didn't you try to talk to him? Why didn't you try to make peace with him? The bully wants to dominate you. They don't want to have a conversation with you. The only way to deal with the bully is to stand up to the bully. In this bully example, the international community would be the school administration who was supposed to protect people from being bullied. However, the international community has not only turned a blind eye to the victims of Pakistan, have provided this bully with billions of dollars with virtually no strings attached. The IMF and the Western countries, and until recently many Middle Eastern countries, have been very eager to rescue the bully whenever they have been in financial dire straits, ensuring that the bully never really learns their lesson. And so the victims of the bully, in this case India, has no choice but to stand alone and stand up for themselves, because the school administration seems to be hand in glove with the bully. The bully here does not respect reason, is not interested in reason, is not interested in calls for rationality. Again, as anyone that has ever been bullied is aware, that bullies only understand and respect power. And that is what India is having to resort to. It's important for you to understand this history because India, rightfully so, is done being bullied. They will take the necessary steps, and now they're going to take the necessary steps to deter this bully. And if you want peace, reach out to the Pakistani administration. Tell them to stop harboring terrorists. Tell them to dismantle their entire terrorist infrastructure. Tell them to move towards being a democracy. Tell them to get rid of the army hegemony.